How's everyone doing out there? Last week you might have realized that I only posted 3 videos, and I've been posting Monday through Friday pretty frequently. But last week I was actually on vacation. My family and I went to Florida. My whole family went to Florida, and that's why I didn't post much during the week, because I was there. I had some videos planned for while I was gone. We went to Fort Myers Beach, Florida for my brother's wedding. My brother and my new sister-in-law got married right on the beach. It was a nice wedding there. Great weather for the wedding. Super hot. I don't know how you guys can live in Florida. It was way too hot for me. My son and I actually drove down together in the Model 3 and stopped at a bunch of superchargers on the way. Left Friday the 13th. We actually planned to stay overnight in Jacksonville, Florida to break up the drive a little bit, because we wanted to get there before 4 o'clock on Saturday, because that's when we actually got the keys to the house we rented. Why do I have this on? It wasn't on the beach. It was really close to the beach, but there was nothing actually available on the beach there. But my son and I, Kyle, left. You actually saw one of the videos yesterday or the day before about the rain. That was actually on our trip down to Florida. That was the day 2 of the drive. We hit some heavy rain, and wanted to record what autopilot did in there, which was really good. I had a tough time seeing the car in front of me, but autopilot did really well through the rain. I was very impressed with it. But we left and we stopped at, from Charlotte here, we stopped at Columbia, South Carolina to supercharge. That was behind a hotel, which wasn't much around. Luckily I checked that before we got there, and it was right around lunchtime when we got there, so we stopped at Wendy's before we got to the supercharger, so we didn't have to walk about a mile to get any kind of food. So, and then from there we went to Savannah, Georgia. Savannah, Georgia supercharger is actually at the airport, so you have to pull into the airport. You have to get a parking ticket, and then find the supercharger, which it's underneath in a parking garage, which is nice. So if it's raining, it's nice for that, but it was really hot. To do anything there, to go to the bathroom or anything like that, you have to walk all the way to the airport, which is a pretty long walk. Once you get in the airport, you know, you're in the hassle of the airport. So that was kind of dumb. I wish they had another supercharger just outside of the airport, so you didn't have to go in there. You don't have to pay for parking once you leave, and you tell the lady at the gate, or I told the lady at the gate that I was just here to supercharge, to charge my car. I just had to put my name on the back of the ticket and my phone number, and I didn't have to pay for it. So that was good. That was a good part about that. I mean, you had to pay for supercharging, of course, because this is a Model 3. But also, I found a piece. I found a piece to someone's car. At the supercharger in Savannah, Georgia, it's at the airport, and look what I found on the ground. Someone's going to be upset. It's windy, you can't hear me, but this is a little piece that fits right there to allow charging to actually happen. And this fell off of somebody's car. If you need it, if this is yours and you need it, put a comment down below and I'll send it to you. I've got it. And then from there we went to Jacksonville. And Jacksonville we stayed, there's no supercharger yet in Jacksonville. Stayed in a hotel that had destination charging, which is really nice. They just got those put in. On the website it actually says 16 gigs available. Well, there's no timer, so you can just charge to full, which was great. I charged to 90% overnight, and then when I woke up in the morning, I charged it a little bit more. Not full, but I charged it really close to full, because it was free, and that way we can get I can pass the supercharger and go to the next one, which was actually Brandon, Florida. It is right in a kind of an older shopping mall, where there was a Starbucks there, there's a Olive Garden, so if you're gonna sit there for a long time, you can wait there. We weren't actually stopping there very long. My son and I, we were hungry, so we just stopped there and got a bite to eat, because I was actually meeting a subscriber at the next supercharger in Sarasota, Florida. The Sarasota Supercharger is huge. There's a bunch of stalls, and there was only 3 of us there, which is which is typical for the East Coast over here. But I met up with Frank. He was a great guy. We talked a lot about Tesla, obviously, and he gave me some good insight of what he's learned from the local dealer there. But it's always cool meeting up with you guys whenever we get a chance. But it was actually raining there, so I didn't film anything. I wanted to get his reaction of the iPad in the car, because I was testing that as well. And he actually loved it. He loved the idea. He actually brought some plastic that he had for a holster and thought maybe that could help, because there's different types of plastics out there instead of using carbon fiber. And I'm actually looking into those. I'm still leaning towards carbon fiber, but there's actually a lot of great plastics out there. So after we left there, that's when we hit that heavy rain, and then you saw that video of my son and I driving, and it was horrendous rain. It was amazing rain. My wife had actually gotten to the house that we were renting at that time, and right when it was pouring down rain, actually water was coming in the house. She actually didn't drive with us because she actually flew up to Ohio to meet her mom and then her parents. She actually flew down to Fort Myers, and my sister-in-law picked her up because she was already there for the wedding. That was the drive down there. It was 2 days long. 8 hours the first day, 6 hours the second day. That was with stopping and just having fun, just relaxing. Autopilot did amazing through the whole thing. No issues whatsoever. No issues with the car at all, really. The only thing I wish I would have done before I left is get the windows tinted. It did get pretty hot, and the sun was pretty hot in the car. So then we just chilled with the family. The wedding wasn't for a couple days, so we just chilled with the family. My wife and I got up early the next morning and went to the beach. I took the drone out, filmed some dolphins in the water. That was actually kind of cool. I was able to track them a little bit. My idea of vacation is to relax, not to go see a ton of sights every day, jam-packed with everything. That's not vacation to me. Vacation to me is relaxing by the pool, relaxing by the beach, relaxing by the lake, which is right behind me here. Some people like to go out and see all those things. My wife actually likes to go see those things. I'm not that kind of person. I like to relax, watch the sunset, things like that. That's fun to me. Then we had the wedding. It was a short ceremony because it was 11 o'clock in the morning. It was blazing hot. I think it was 90 degrees every single day we were there. It rained once or twice, but the humidity seemed to be around 60% humidity. I mean, at nighttime it was still 85 degrees, and that's hot with the humidity. I know out in California you guys are having a hot spell, but your humidity isn't as high as it was in Florida. Florida's a cool state, but not a cool state. It's a very hot state. My wife took the kids parasailing. I got close with the drone while they were parasailing. They were pretty far out there. I was actually a mile away from me at the point of filming them, but I didn't want to get too close to them just in case. You don't want any problems. But I was able to film some of that, which was actually kind of cool. And then my wife and I wanted to get out a little bit, get away from everyone, and just me and her go out. And she was looking for some shells, some conch shells or conch shells. I don't know if they're which way you pronounce them. You say tomato, I say potato. Everyone has different ways of saying it. But we went up to Fort Myers Beach. Is a pretty long beach, and then up north there's a couple other islands which are actually pretty fun to go to. So we drove up there. Some nice bridges to go over there. Almost look like going to Key West, going over the bridge. And there's like these little pods that the bridge comes over to, and then continue on to the island. So we stopped at this first one, and there were shells everywhere. It was pretty cool to see all the shells, full conch shells. The water was beautiful. The water was actually very warm. It was clearer than it was down in Fort Myers. Fort Myers was a little dirty water. I don't know if the heavy rain spilled out some other stuff into the water, but it was brownish. Up north it was a little bit more greenish, more aqua color. But it was nice spending some time out there with my wife, just walking down the beach looking for shells and just relaxing. It was fun. A good getaway. Got some pictures right next to the water when we pulled off. You were able to park the car right there next to the water, and so it took some nice shots. And of course, answered some questions from people walking by. Hey, is that a Model 3? Is that a Tesla? A lot of those things that you always get when you drive these things. And for the people that haven't gotten theirs yet, those are the questions you will get. So be prepared to answer them. The drive home we were going to do in one day. So we were leaving early. We tried to leave about 7:30, 8 o'clock. We actually ended up leaving about 8:30. After the car was fully packed, I could not pack this car any tighter. The trunk was totally full. The trunk was totally full. We were actually bringing my niece and nephew back with us. They're going to stay at our house for probably 3 weeks this summer. And then my mom and dad are going to take them up to Ohio, back to my brother and my sister-in-law. So on the way back, we stop at, first of all, it took a little longer because my son actually got car sick. He had something that he actually ended up puking, unfortunately. I had to pull off to the side of the road. He ended up puking a little bit out the window. I had to clean that up a little bit, but he was not feeling good. And I felt bad for him because you never want to start a long trip home when you're not feeling good. So we actually stopped a little longer at Superchargers just to give him a little rest. So the first stop was at Brandon, Florida again. And we stayed there for quite a while. We had breakfast. Unfortunately, he couldn't eat breakfast, but we wanted to give his stomach a little rest. From there, we went to Ocala. I think that's how you say it, Ocala, Florida. That was in a giant shopping plaza, but it was good to get up and walk after driving a little bit. It's probably good for my son to walk a little bit, to stretch his stomach a little bit. And at that point, he had been feeling a little bit better already. I think whatever he had, he was able to get out, and he was doing a little bit better, but still didn't let him eat yet. From there, we stopped at Kingsland. It's just outside of Florida in Georgia. And that's actually at a police station, it looked like, right next to a gas station. There's cop cars everywhere, so great place to stop, very secure. Went over to the gas station and got some snacks, came back, and some people were looking at the car, of course, like always. And we answered questions, let them sit in the car as usual. I always like to answer as many questions as possible. As you guys know, I like promoting Tesla. So let's go over the cost of everything, all the supercharging. I wrote it down here. Total cost of supercharging was $46.58 to go 1,874 miles. It's actually pretty good. That actually boils down to 2 cents per mile. Yes, we got free charging at the hotel. I got free charging at the house at a 110 outlet. I did charge overnight with the 110 outlet, plus during the day when I wasn't driving, I had it plugged in. So I ended up getting like 4 miles per hour on there. And I got free destination charging on the island. There was actually down in the square of Fort Myers, there's a destination charger for one of the restaurants there. So I was able to plug in there twice, for an hour each time. Not a huge deal, but actually got iced the second time in the evening. Luckily, there's a 25-foot cord on those things, or 24-foot cord. I was able to pull it past there, and I just blocked their parking spots. Since they blocked mine, I'm going to block theirs. So that's what you get. Total for the whole trip, 487 kilowatts. That's a lot. That's a lot of kilowatts to be using. Average was 260 watts per mile. We had air conditioning blazing. I was driving fast. People were still passing me, man. You people in Florida drive crazy. Let's do some comparison. An average car gets about 25 miles per gallon. When you're loaded down and you're driving that fast, you're going to get 25 miles per gallon. That's going to give 75 gallons to go the same distance. I didn't really look too much at gas prices. I don't really look at gas stations much anymore, but $2.65 is what I saw between here and there mostly. So that would have been $198 in gas versus my $46 in electricity that I had to pay for, which comes down to about 10 cents per mile. So my dad drove his SUV, which gets about 20 miles per gallon. So it's going to be a little bit more fuel, 93 gallons, $248 to travel the same distance. So it's $200 more than what I paid for it, and puts him at 13 cents per mile. That 11 cents difference doesn't sound like a whole lot, but over time that adds up. It doesn't pay for the car, but over time that does add up quite a bit. Yes, he did get home quicker than I did, but not by much. We had a more restful trip, stopping a couple more times to supercharge. He stopped for gas, and then he stopped for dinner, I think. But they left at 8 o'clock, got home at 9 o'clock. I left at 8:30, got home at 12:30. So, that extra time was eaten up by supercharging, but we also got to stretch our legs. We didn't feel fatigued. The car was driving us. It was more enjoyable. You have to look at a trip in a Tesla as you're going to take your time. There's planned stops. You don't have to sit there like, oh, someone's got to pee. Okay, we got to find a spot to stop.
Stop the car. I don't want to do this anymore.
You don't have that. You know when you're going to stop. You know you're going to be there for a little bit. You can take your time. You can walk to the bathroom slowly. You don't have to rush. There's no rush involved in driving a Tesla on a trip. And that's what's really nice. And that's what takes the stress out of a trip. And I'm glad I got to take the 3. I'm glad I took the 3. A lot of you guys remember that I was debating whether to take the S or to take the 3. We stopped at 4 superchargers each way, back and forth. The S, I would have probably had to stop an extra time. Yes, we would have had more room. Yes, the seats might have been a little bit more comfortable. I'm glad we took this. Take your trips in your Model 3s when you get them. Put some miles on the car. Right now I already have, wow, I almost have 6,000 miles on this already. I'm going to be doing a review soon of the whole car. I have 5788. Maybe I'll wait till 6,000 miles to do a review. Stay tuned. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Share the video. Whatever you want to do. I want to thank everyone for all their great comments. Leave those comments down below. Leave your questions down below. I'll answer them for you. Hit the description up. There's ways for you to save some money on accessories. Save some money on free supercharging if you're buying a Model S or Model X. Click the link below. The program runs till the end of July, which they extended from the 15th to the end of July. So that's really good for everyone out there. Plus, there's a link you can get your iPad holder for your door, your pre-order for that as well. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.